You open the fridge, you grab something wrapped in plastic, you eat it without thinking twice. This happens to you dozens of times a week, and you barely notice it anymore. But something strange happens inside your body the moment you stop. Something your brain, your gut, and even your taste buds were not prepared for. Most people think quitting processed food is about willpower. It isn't. It's about biology. Your body has spent years adapting to a very specific kind of fuel, and removing it triggers a chain reaction most people never see coming. So what actually happens, hour by hour, day by day, when you take processed food out of your life? Let's start with what processed really means, because most people get this wrong. A food scientist named Carlos Montero developed a classification system called NOVA, which sorts foods by how much they've been engineered rather than by their nutrients. Under this system, an ultra-processed food isn't just something in a package. It's something built in a lab to override your natural sense of fullness. Extra sugar, extra fat, extra salt, extra texture, all combined in ratios your brain did not evolve to resist. Here's the part that surprises people. In 2019, a researcher named Kevin Hall ran a controlled trial at the National Institutes of Health. He locked participants in a metabolic ward and fed one group ultra-processed meals, then switched them to whole foods matched for calories, sugar, fat, and fiber. The result, on the processed diet, people ate about 500 extra calories a day without even trying. Nobody told them to eat more. Their bodies simply couldn't stop. Why does this happen? Your brain has a built-in system for tracking how much food you've eaten, largely run by a hormone called leptin. Leptin is supposed to tell your brain, "You're full, stop eating." But ultra-processed food is engineered to blunt that signal. The texture is soft, so you eat faster than your gut can register it. The flavor is a chemical cocktail no whole food replicates, so your brain's reward center lights up like it's found something rare and valuable. It hasn't. It's just been tricked. So what happens when you remove all of that? The first 24 hours are the hardest. Your blood sugar, which has been riding a roller coaster of processed carb spikes and crashes, suddenly has nothing to spike. You might feel foggy. You might feel irritable. Some people describe it like a mild caffeine withdrawal, even if caffeine isn't involved. This isn't weakness. It's your body recalibrating a system that's been running on artificial highs for years. By day 2 or 3, your gut starts to shift. This is where things get genuinely fascinating. Your intestines are home to trillions of bacteria, collectively called your gut microbiome, and different bacteria thrive on different fuels. Processed food is often low in fiber, and the bacteria that love fiber start to starve when you're eating that way. When you switch to whole foods, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, you're feeding a completely different population of microbes. A nutrition researcher named Barbara Rolls has spent decades studying how the fiber and water content of whole foods increases what she calls satiety per calorie, meaning you feel fuller on fewer calories, not because of magic, but because your stomach physically stretches and your gut releases fullness hormones like GLP-1 in response to real bulk, not liquid sugar. Around day 4, your taste buds begin to change. This part sounds unbelievable until you experience it yourself. Taste receptors on your tongue regenerate roughly every 10 to 14 days, and chronic exposure to intensely engineered flavors actually dulls their sensitivity over time. Remove the intensity, and within about a week, an apple starts to taste sweeter. A plain almond starts to taste rich instead of bland. You are not imagining this. Your taste system is literally recalibrating its baseline. What about energy? This is where most people expect an instant boost, and instead they get the opposite for a few days. Processed foods, especially those loaded with refined sugar, produce a fast spike in blood glucose followed by an equally fast crash, which your brain interprets as fatigue, prompting you to reach for another quick fix. When you remove that cycle, your body has to relearn how to draw energy from steadier sources, mainly fat and complex carbohydrates. This transition can leave you feeling sluggish for 3 to 5 days. Then something shifts. Energy levels stop crashing in the afternoon. Mid-morning slumps disappear, not because you have more energy overall, but because you've stopped creating the artificial dips in the first place. By the end of week 1, your inflammation markers start to move. Diets high in ultra-processed food have been linked in observational studies to elevated levels of C-reactive protein, a marker your liver produces in response to inflammation throughout the body. Some of this comes from the food itself. Some comes from changes in gut bacteria, since certain processed ingredients can weaken the lining of your intestine, allowing bacterial fragments to leak into your bloodstream in a process researchers call metabolic endotoxemia. Whole foods, particularly those rich in fiber and polyphenols, tend to support a healthier gut lining, which in turn calms this low-grade inflammatory response. Now, here's the part that ties it all together. None of this is really about sugar or fat or any single villain ingredient. It's about signal clarity. Whole foods send your brain clean, honest signals about what you're eating and how much energy it contains. Processed foods scramble those signals, layering flavor and texture in ways that separate taste from nutrition entirely. Your body isn't broken when it overeats processed food. It's responding exactly the way any well-designed system would respond to corrupted input. This is why the changes people report after a few weeks aren't really about weight, even though weight often does shift. They're about clarity. Hunger starts to feel like an actual physical sensation again, not a vague craving that appears an hour after lunch for no obvious reason. Fullness starts to arrive on time, instead of arriving 20 minutes after you've already overeaten. Sleep, for many people, improves too, since stable blood sugar overnight means fewer of those blood sugar-driven wake-ups in the middle of the night. Does this mean processed food is evil and whole food is pure? Not exactly. Processing exists on a spectrum. Frozen vegetables are processed. Canned beans are processed. The concern isn't processing itself. It's the specific combination of engineered texture, refined carbohydrates, and flavor intensity that overrides your body's natural feedback loops. That's the target, not convenience in general. So if you strip processed food out of your life, even partially, what you're really doing is giving your body's ancient signaling systems a chance to work the way they were designed to. Leptin gets to do its job. Your gut bacteria get the fiber they've been asking for. Your taste buds recalibrate to find real flavor in real food. And your energy stops running on a cycle of spikes and crashes that was never sustainable to begin with. You didn't need more discipline. You needed cleaner signals. And once your body gets them back, it starts telling you the truth again, one meal at a time.